Francis here from E-MTB View, and I'm here where the hills are alive in Crested Butte, Colorado. My first time biking here because Pivot got me out here to check out their new bike. You know, one of my first media camps, and it is an important bike indeed. It is the Pivot Shuttle AM, and there are really a lot of things going on this bike. Some things that I thought Pivot would never do, and they pulled out all stops to give you a quality bike. So hang in with me and learn about this compelling new bike. First about the bike, it is a 148mm rear travel DW link on the back and 160 in the front, and it slots in between the Shuttle SL and the Shuttle LT. So a little Goldilocks action right there. And I'm just gonna come at you with the thing that shocked me about this bike. What it has is a Bosch motor. A Bosch motor that, you know, I've never seen on a full powered e-bike from Pivot, and I've been getting Pivot bikes for a long time. They always have Shimano. It's paired with a Sram transmission. As you know, Pivot is a Shimano shop, but they said, hey, this thing is the best for this bike because of the power of that Bosch. And then we'll pair it with Shimano XDR brakes. So even though it's all seamless and compelling, this is very unique, you know, that you have these three players, you know, in concert to form a very capable machine. All right. So the other thing, the other bonus that they have is they have the CX Race motor, the one you've been hearing about, built for enduro. Now, as a consumer, you can get it. And I'm going to give you a lot of impressions about this motor too. How it pans out is you have a team build for $39.99 or $14K, just as you see here. And it has a very limited edition motor. Without the team, you have the Pro model, so 11.8. And then the other build is $899.99. So this bike has a 750 watt hour Bosch battery. And if you know Bosch, they milk the most range out of the watt hours because of their tour mode and E-MTB mode, which really adapts to your riding and never gets you stuck in turbo mode. So 750 right there, right? And then if you buy the ride build, you get a 625 watt hour battery. So you know, you get the little added weight on the components, but the battery is about 1.5 pounds lighter. And another great addition to this thing is these Bosch motors have the PowerMore range extender compatibility. These are 250 watt hour batteries, and they don't look that big. This bike, as it sits, is about 47.5 pounds with a beefy build. And you know, so I can imagine, you know, with a 625, it'd be like what, 46 pounds? So really compelling. But enough about range. What really matters is ride quality. Initially, I thought I wanted, oh man, I just want 170 travel on my e-bike because they're powered anyway. But really, you sacrifice agility and ride quality. So this one is pretty darn agile. So what it has is about a 442 stay on a 29er. It has a 461 reach for a medium. Seat angle is about, you know, 76.1. And the head angle is about a 64.1. So that's on the low. We have a flip chip here, right here as well. So the other thing it has is this DW link. So many bikes I have now have 160 cranks. Why? Because they keep pedal striking, you know? And over here in Crested Butte, it's all rocks and roots as we're climbing. I never did a pedal strike, which was amazing because, you know, I felt like I was low to the ground, but the suspension just kept it up with this power. The next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is the power and how this thing puts it to the ground. Okay, so two things that shocked me about this bike is one is the agility. It really moves, and this is not even a mullet. It's definitely mullet compatible, but 29er for speed at the moment and bump rolling. But you know, it would be even more, you know, maybe a little more depth and more back clearance when you convert this and you put that flip chip up. The other compelling thing is the power. So right now I'm testing the CX Race motor for the first time, and it's a great motor. What it does is it responds to you in like a millisecond. You know, you don't need a lot of torque just kind of push it, and it has a lot of overrun. So we just have a stock tune right now, one of the stock tunes on CX Race. There's way more that are more powerful assists that will give you like a couple seconds overrun. But man, what a delight. You got a 3-mile rocky rooty climb. And what this does is you have your choice. They also chose an eco mode, a low-level mode that's quite supportive. It's a very supported bike. And you can tune that with your Bosch app. You're powering through, and you got to do your shift, right? They say never shift under power, never shift under power. Hey, you're climbing 3 miles, you're going to shift under power. So that's why they felt it was compelling to put this Sram transmission. This thing will shift under power because it'll wait for you. It'll wait for the right time to do the shift, and it's so beefy enough. The rigidity of it can withstand some of that pressure. So really amazing that they're mated to each other, because this thing has so much torque. You know, they're claiming 600 watts, but it really feels like more. And not just because of the initial push or the overrun, two, because it just sustains it forever. You know, you get on a bike, maybe a Shimano bike or a Levo bike, the newer Levo bike, where it kind of goes like that, the power goes like this. What's special about the Bosch is not just the watt number, but how it keeps it. You know, from your 2 RPM or 140 RPM is what they're saying. It's going to give it to you there. You know, Bosch, first thing that comes to mind is, oh, that head unit. You know, it's so obnoxious and whatnot. It's all dialed in. You have an integrated top tube unit right here with lights. It has 5 bars, but with half bars. So you have 10-bar indicator. You have your app as well. But the switch itself is amazing. Yeah, I think it's Bluetooth, wireless for sure. So it's a very tactile feel, matches the transmission remote. Really amazing, light integration, walk mode and whatnot. But one of the best remotes that I've seen. And the fact that it doesn't have wires, wow, that's good. In a crowded field of full-powered e-bikes, this in 2023 has some very unique things to offer. So I hope I get to try this in my local forest. But first impressions, definitely up there. Thanks a ton. For the final part of this video, I'm going to give you some ride impressions. My first time here at Crested Butte. Hard to get here, and a lot of climbing at very high elevation. So not an easy destination, but the e-bike, this Bosch CX motor, really made it accessible. You can climb for days at starting at 9,000 feet. Here's my first descent on this bike. You can tell it's fairly quiet. There's a knock on the motor, but it kind of disappears after a while. And our first descent, it was just rough. Had a lot of drops, going blind, and I felt instantly familiar with this bike. Like, this bike had my back, so got my confidence right away. There's a kind of nice suppleness off the top. Really nice shock tune on this bike. I rode it firm, and then I let a bunch of air out for this very long and rough descent. And VW Link, I think I like that luxury of being able to run more sag, because it just stays pretty high on its travel. So a lot of rough stuff, easy to handle, confidence inspiring, laterally stiff, you know, full 29er, super boost on the rear wheel, and it seems to work really well. Change the direction well. So before I forget, what would I like to see on this bike? Obviously not everything is positive. First one is, I would rather see this bike as a natural mullet. Bikes are usually kept the way they're shipped. I know it's mount compatible, but very few people will do it, I think. And I think mullets really have an advantage on a bike like this. Give it more agility, more clearance, shorten that chainstay. So that's my choice. Another one is, it has a 200mm rotor on the front. It really should have a 220. Shimano 4-piston brakes are great, but there's stronger brakes out there, so putting it at 220 would equalize it. But there you go. I feel very privileged to be able to try this. Hope to ride it more.